First of all, explain to some of our guests that what commerce man is, so they can get a grasp of what's coming up.
Okay. So in St. Vincent, people who like to gossip, we say they like comments. I don't know where that word came from. So we say comments man.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel, Says World TV. Today we have a very special guest, Dr. Nicholette Spring, aka Coco Bilinci, author, philanthropist. If this is your first time to our channel, please hit the notification button and subscribe, like, and share so that when we upload our videos, you will be the first to be notified.
Right, and then it's over to Mr. Says.
So, thanks, Sip. I just want to say a pleasant good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning to wherever you are in the world. Um, Today we have a very special guest. She's one of her own, pretty much. She's a doctor, not by profession, but by accolades in front of her name there. It's Dr. Nicholette Spring. You may know her also as Coco Bilinji. She is also a published author and a philanthropist in her own right. So just help me welcome Dr. Nicholette Spring. Dr. Spring, welcome to Vinci Internet Radio. Welcome to the platform.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. Like we say on Vinci Internet Radio, we don't say big up yourself, we say size up yourself for greatness.
Good.
Okay, so Dr. Spring, as you know, we always do here, we always say, take us back to your humbler beginnings when, from childhood, what were your likes, dislikes, and, what was it like growing up and where you're from, and et cetera, et cetera.
Well, Moulton, you can just read the book. Growing up in Vinci. That has everything.
All right, I like that one. So we know you won't give it away because of course you want folks to read the book, right? So and make sure you have my copy because I need my two copies. Make sure you have my two signed copies ready. But outside of that, tell us, just tease us a little bit about growing up in Vinci.
Okay, so Dr. Nicholette Spring is who people in Dixon know as Coco, and people in Byron, Georgetown, etc., know as Nico. So Nico was born in Dixon. She grew up in O'Brien's Valley and Mangrove. But I cannot say Mangrove without saying Goss and Byron.
Right.
It's the same place. And after finishing school, I taught at Byron and Langley Park. And then I migrated to the USA.
That was brief in a nutshell. We need a little bit more than that. But so for those folks who don't know that area, like, because you might have fans that are not really from St. Vincent, and I don't like to call it. We call it countryside. I don't like to call it countryside. I like to call it the windward side of the island. So you're a true windward side woman, right? Because you.
Well, I can sum it up for you.
Mm-hmm.
Born in Dixon, grew up in O'Brien's Valley, Mangrove, Goss, Byron. Went to school in Langley Park and Georgetown.
Wow.
Taught at Langley Park. Dad is from Connery. Husband is from Park Hill.
Wow. I'm from Montreal. You mentioned something from Montreal.
Well, yes, I used to hang out in Montreal with EP. That's
Okay. So there you go. So where does the name Coco come from? Is it actually on your birth certificate or is it a nickname?
No, my theory is when I was smaller, I couldn't say Nico. In Vinci, everybody has a nickname.
Right.
So I'm thinking I said Coco and that's where that name came from.
Oh, okay. Because I think most people can resonate with Coco, you know,
Yes.
except they have been to school with you. So tell us, like, we really don't want you to to give it away, but like tease us a little bit, like about what it was like growing up on the windward side of the island, you know.
So growing up on the winter side is very interesting. Lots of activities. From pulling canes out the cane truck, running behind the molasses truck, putting your hand behind the molasses that was dripping out,
True.
going to mountain, going to the river. When school gave holidays, like in August, because we have the Atlantic Ocean,
Mm-hmm.
the sea used to be calm during those months. So
Right.
every day we went to the sea. We can't say beach, we say sea.
Right.
Beach is on the Caribbean seaside.
Mhm.
And playing marbles, cricket, rounders, dodge, skipping, but most of all, sitting by the roadside and waiting for a truck that's going to Rabuka for sand so that we can get a ride to go and pick fat pork and grain.
Dr. Spring, I don't want you to say much more about those kind of activities because, of course, we're going to go later on and dive into the book and stuff like that. Tell us how you got to from being Coco up to when you started going to getting into the high school part to choose your path, your career path, etc., etc. So I want you to tell us like a little bit about what it was like academically growing up. Were you an only sibling? Did you have other siblings that went before you and stuff like that? Tell us what the family life was like growing up.
And I consider myself privileged because back then going to a preschool was not that popular as it is today. But I went to a preschool in Georgetown called Miss Liverpool School. From there, I went to the Langley Park Infant School under Sis and Vernon Charles. There was a teacher called Miss Jack. And that whole group of us then went to Georgetown School, where Mrs. Crichton was the head teacher. So we went right up to junior 5, and Neil Henry was our teacher. Passed common entrance, went to girls' high school. From girls' high school, after graduation, I started teaching, taught for about a year and a half, went to teachers college. So I had a lot of schooling.
Mhm.
From teachers college, I reached the maximum of a qualified assistant teacher at the age of 25.
Wow, impressive.
And in those days, the head teachers were not 25. So there's no way I had a chance of becoming a head teacher. So I had to do something. And that is when I decided to migrate to the USA because I wanted more.
Right. Hold it there. We're not going to the US yet. Okay, we're staying in Sydney for a little bit. Right. So basically you're saying that you run out of qualifications in the teaching
Yes.
career.
Yes.
Well, that's impressive. Who then were you looking up to? Who was it, a role model that you would have looked up to, an influence that you would have been looking up to at that time?
Right. So I had Mr. Gavin Seymour,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Tyrone Borg,
Mm-hmm.
and Dr. Ralph Gonsalves.
Okay. So Tyrone Bork is related to Mississippi Bork. Is it brother? Is it their brother, Sippy?
No, very close relative.
Very close relatives, the Bork family. Right. So you have, at least you had people in the community that you were looking up to, and that explains why further on I'm going to dive into some of the works that you're doing and some of the people you're highlighting, and it's really I really want to commend you on what you're doing in that form, because our community needs to know the people who are ahead of us, who paved the way, and know that there's hope beyond the horizon. Before
Yes,
CP,
thank you.
yeah, before CP comes in, like, what did you plan on being when you grew up? What was your um your childhood thought of what you wanted to be? What did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, as we're going back, I can take you back to junior 5. When Neil Henry asked us what we wanted to do when we grew up, my answer was a mother. And he said to me, no, apart from being a mother, what else? So I wanted to be a lawyer. But
As-
in high school, I did business subjects and I loved accounting.
Mhm.
So that is why I'm in the accounting profession today.
Okay. Well, I think it's like that. Growing up, since we were in the same era, I think it was very difficult for us to exactly choose what we wanted to be, because if your parents weren't rich, you weren't able to achieve that. Even if you were academically able to do the job, to do the studies, your parents didn't have the finances to support you, or you weren't fortunate enough to get a scholarship. So I don't know if you were one of them who were very limited in terms of what you wanted to be. Like, I know you said a lawyer, but stuff like that.
That was kind of far-fetched
Uh,
because back then, you were either a teacher, a police officer,
mhm,
a nurse,
mhm.
or a bank worker.
Bank work. Exactly. That's what I always say.
Yes.
Mm, yeah. So I'm gonna let you jump in here, and we're gonna come back because we have lots of things to touch, your books and the work you've been doing and stuff like that. So I'm gonna pass you over to CP, and we'll be back.
You're listening to the Fresh Green Song. You're listening to Vinci Internet Radio. We have with us Dr. Nicole Spring. Dr. Spring, in your growing up days, in your growing up days, I know you've been very active in the community. Tell us about the community work that you did while you were still in Byron.
Okay. So I have a charitable foundation and it sponsors educational activities in our community. I consider our community to be from Rabuka down to Mount Grenon, including Dixon, South Rivers, Park Hill. I give out annual preschool scholarships. That is to the Buy Safe preschool in Byra. I think the first year I did 4 scholarships, and the second year I did 5. And I actually included a school in Enham, but the parent is from Park Hill. I may sound biased, but I'm giving back to the community that gave to me. I also, at graduation time, I gave a monetary prize and a trophy to the most outstanding student of the Byra Primary School in Common Entrance. Last February, I gave out soccer balls and volleyballs to all the schools. And at any time, if any of the schools have a need, they reach out to me. Sometimes some children need a bit of financial assistance, or they would need school uniforms, books, or school shoes, and I will donate or lend them a hand.
How long has since you been doing this?
I think this is the third year, officially as Dr. Nicholette Spring Charitable Foundation. But I always give back, whether it is food or anything. Once someone asks me and I'm able to, I do my best. The latest project is organizing a netball team in Byra. So that is currently on the way, and they have a practice match or a small tournament coming up on Sunday.
All right, in case you're just joining us, we're having a conversation with author, philanthropist, Dr. Nicholette Spring. Dr. Spring, I just want to do a follow-up question on that. Are you getting any assistance in doing this, or are you doing it just solely by yourself?
All by myself.
All by yourself. So, yeah, that folks. If you want to contribute, I'm pretty sure we'll give you a chance later on, where you can contact the Nicholette Spring Foundation. It is
Yes.
that can also help out. It'll be a good cause, in the community. So now we're moving forward, Dr. Spring. So growing up, you migrated to the USA because, of course, like you mentioned earlier, you run out of pretty much all your academical boost for as being an educator. And as I forgot to mention in my introduction, that you were a former educator in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and you also you're a top accountant for you're an accountant for a top firm in the U.S. So you migrated to the U.S., and what were your intentions? Did you plan to continue being an educator there, or what was the plan?
Yes, I wanted to be a teacher, but the education system in America is different. In order for you to be a classroom teacher, you had to be certified. As a matter of fact, you still have to be certified in order to teach in the schools. So I started by teaching at a preschool. However, it was a bit different from what I know at home in terms of discipline. And I eventually left. And then I started to work in the field of accounting. And I went back to school to do accounting.
Mm-hmm. Right. So at what stage, because I want to introduce the books here. So you've published two books. Um, One of them is called Growing Up in St. Vincent, Growing Up in Vinci. And then you also have a collection of poetry. I don't know if you have a copy of them there. You can just
Yes,
put it up.
I do. So this is Growing Up in Vincy.
And the other one is collection of
And
poetries.
yes, a collection of poems, Vincy lifestyle.
Vinci lifestyle. Okay, let's talk about that one. Let's talk about that one for a moment because um, we know we have a lot of poems and a lot of. I find these days like a lot of educators or former educators are publishing books and stuff like that. Do you think it's more do you find it more easier now that people are able to publish books? Because I must tell you, lately, CP and I have been going through a lot of authors and published authors, whether it's poetry or books, for from authors from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and it's for us, it's really a proud thing that we see that St. Vincent is on the rise on from an academic point of view, that people are writing books and that. So I applaud you guys when you put those things together and make it a book and spread the, represent St. Vincent and the Grenadines wherever you are. How difficult it was to publish that first book? Because I assume the poetry one is the first one.
No, the poetry one is the second one.
Okay.
And everybody is not the same, but publishing these days is easier because you can self-publish.
Right.
Long ago, you had to send it to a publisher, many publishers, and if it was not to their standard, they would reject it. But with the onslaught of technology, people can self-publish.
Right. So that question I asked you there was geared towards making people aware, or especially people from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, living in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, aware that they can have stuff done like work out there, like publishing a book. Because you and I know in our days that would have been like a dream that was a little bit above our head, right? So
Yes.
yes, so I'm happy you said that, and I'm pretty sure you being the person who you are, you're able to assist whoever wants to publish a book. You can also guide them along the way because I know you're a community person.
And I've had questions, and I'm helping. I'm giving the information.
Right. Not unselfish. So tell us a little bit about growing up in Vince now, the book itself. You gave us some of the stories. Tell us why you wrote the book and what's the purpose of the intention of the book. What awareness do you want it to bring about?
Okay. So, growing up in Vincy is a result of Facebook. Facebook is social media. Some people have this vibe that Facebook is negative. I wanted to show people that even if they think Facebook is negative, as an individual, you can bring something positive to Facebook. So I started by giving daily inspiration. Like, for example, I would say, Happy Friday, or stuff like that. Or I would just share something, trying to uplift the spirits of people. Then I started featuring people from Byra. And I've learned that Byra is a rich community. We have everything. I can brag, I can boast. We have everything in Byra.
Wow.
Yes, you may have seen some of the features.
Yes, yes. I must say I'm a big follower of your page. Even you probably don't know, and you probably don't realize how many people are gravitating towards whatever you put out there. It's sometimes, like I said before, we need a refresher of the people in our community. And CP and I we interviewed quite a bit of Bayer folks that I didn't really realize how rich Bayer the Bayer vein is.
Yes. And then for Women's History Month, I feature women. June for Father's Day, I feature distinguished men. I think in December, I did great people from the community who have passed on. And every Sunday, I try to feature a young person from Byra, encouraging them to do their best.
Right.
From that, I featured the villages. One morning, I just got up and said, let me write about Goss. I did. And then I featured all of the villages right up to Dixon. Following that, like Park Hill and South Rivers, those had the big arrowroot wheel, the turning wheel.
Yes.
And that's where the idea came. Maybe I should write what we did growing up. Then I started writing. I did the wooden buses. I did the cocoa and how we used to suck the seed, how chocolate is made. And the response was very positive. It was a good response. And people kept saying, why don't you write a book? And I laughed it off because I didn't have any intentions of writing this book. I only wanted to write a memoir of my life. However, a friend of mine passed October of last year, and he used to like call me up and ask me what I'm gonna write on, or made suggestions of what I should write on. And when he passed, that's when I decided I should publish the book in his memory. His name is Maxwell Chalice Porter. So the book is dedicated to the memory of Chalice Porter.
Oh. So I know most of us can resonate to the information in the book, and that's what made it so interesting that you took all those childhood memories and put them together about St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And again, the good thing about it again is that this generation today can look back and say, wow, because now I think they're only exposed to video games. And we use other things in the community. We use the community to have fun and to be your guide, so to speak. So I'm gonna let Sibi pick up from there because I know you and him are almost from the same place.
We're from the same area.
Right.
Yes.
So I know you have some real memories to share with Sipi that he's gonna really
He's
enjoy.
on Sippy in the book. I'll read a piece to Sippy.
I hope you're not talking about my football days.
Yes, yes, yes.
Give you one thing. Do you have any intention of doing basketball?
We can do anything,
Okay.
but it's kind of difficult to get people who are enthusiastic down there.
Okay. If you can get about 7 or so person from basketball, we can talk about it.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. So growing up again are talking about growing up days. Apart from your charity and apart from community work, tell us a little bit about your inspiration. Who inspire you most in the community at a small age to basically excel beyond your dreams?
So growing up, I was always close to Mr. Tyrone Bob. Tyrone was always reading. When he's not reading, he went to meetings. He was the, I think he was the president of the teachers union. And he was always like going to town and having meetings. And as a little girl, you're looking at him like, wow, he's doing so many things. And not just anything. He was actually fighting for the rights of teachers. And being a young teacher, this is someone you emulate. So I would say Mr. Tyrone Bob, and not only him, his wife as well, Homer Steenberg. Part of it too was Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, because when I left to come to New York, I told them, I'm not coming back unless I'm called Dr. Nicholette Spring. And I said to Dr. Ralph, I'm going to be like you. And I think I'm there. So I must say I had positive influences in my life.
And as a community leader, how are you planning now to show others the way so that they can at least come positively when they come into people?
I try. I often tell people, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. So if someone is angry, then you can't be angry. Somebody has to be calm in order for there to be balance. I get along with anybody. Like back home, we say you could walk with the devil. I can walk with the devil because I don't allow anything to bother me, in the sense that once there's work to do, I focus on the work. So there's some negative and some naysayers in the community. They think that my work is because I want to be a politician. My work has nothing to do with politics. My work has to do with the development of my community, of which I'm very proud.
I think you took really what I wanted to say, but I didn't want to go down that line yet. But there's always, I remember when I was growing up, my father always used to tell me, when you go out, when you get mad at somebody, the whole world get mad at you. When you be calm, then the people have nothing to say. And I use that. My father was, I never saw he get mad. I tell you, not even of us. So, but he was a very strict head father. A headmaster, he was very, very, very strict. So,
Yep.
that sometimes rub off on me and things I do, but very, very laid back, as we used to say, laid back, nothing bother him, but when it come to his work, he was very strict. And I don't see that in the community. I was back home a couple of times, about 5 years ago. to lay my mother to a final resting place. And I haven't seen too many community leaders. We are suffering from community leaders. I mean, give me your opinion. Is your opinion on that?
It's true. I'm actually leading from where I am. And it's difficult, but I do understand that not everybody has or want to be a leader. And sadly, as you mentioned, our community is lacking. Take, for example, the preschool. The preschool has been closed for almost a year now. And it's always the same people over and over. Tyrone and his wife, Miss Paul Williams, always leading. But meanwhile, the preschool is a staple in our community, and it's a needed part of our community. Lots of children went there, they got their foundation, and it's something that we need to continue. But we don't have the people to continue the fight.
Even when I left that 20-something years ago, and when I was leaving, I said, do you need to have continuity in this community area along with the preschool? I know the preschool was very important to a lot of people, but where are the leaders to go forward when these set of leaders decided they have enough? And that's one of the problem I have with the community center, also with the preschool. We need leaders.
Yes, yes.
Anyhow, before we get too deep and somebody get mad at us, let me take you back to Moulton.
All right. Thanks, Sip. We're having a conversation with Dr. Nicholette Spring. You may know her as Coco Bilingi on Facebook. She is published author of 2 books, and she's also a philanthropist. And she is also involved in a lot of other things in our community. So, Dr. Spring, I didn't want to touch it. I'm actually leaving it for CP, but you have some fond memories of my co-host here, Mr. CP Borg. Before you dive into it, though, there's a part of a poem in the one of your published book with poetry. There's one that's called "Commerce Man." So, like, read for us and break it down a little bit for us.
Okay. All right, let me read.
First of all, explain to some of our guests that what Commerce Man is, so they can get a grasp of what's coming up.
Okay. So in St. Vincent, people who like to gossip, we say they like commerce. I don't know where that word came from, but that's the word we use. So we say commerce man or commerce woman. So I'm going to read you the poem. And I think from the poem you would know what it
You'll understand it by the end of the poem, right?
Yes, yes. So, commerce man. Hello? Every village has one. Yes, yes, a commerce man. They can't call name for go courts, even if you say it's calling oats. They always peeping through the curtain in the evening, noon, and morning. Everybody business they know. especially if them not like you. Hey, you not hear this and you not hear that about who skinny or who big and fat. Nobody is safe from these people because they see every time you come and go. But part of it is they only know your business when it comes to their own, all covered up on the big stone. But they are part of the community, whether town, leeward, or country. If you can't beat them, they say, just join in the melee.
There you go, comments man. So, are all your poems in the colloquial terms, or some of them are standard English as well?
I believe maybe one or two are in standard English. The first language of St. Vincent is dialect.
Right.
We
Well,
had to learn English.
right, and I like the way you wrote it because it's you can comprehend it. Someone, even if you're not from Saint Vincent, you can understand it easily because it's not deep as if I know if you have to go deep, it would be, So I like the way you put it out there. What are some of the other poems that, not for you to say it, but some of the other names of the poems that you think we might like?
Right. So there's a poem on St. Vincent. There's a poem on Vincentians. This speaks of us as a friendly people. It talks about how when visitors come, how we embrace them. We give them our food, our fruits, and so on. There is also a poem on the minivans. That's the culture we have every day. There are a few other poems on Dixon, O'Brien's Valley, Byra, and Kingston. Like Kingston is known as the city of archers. We have the cenotaph, we have the Iron Man, and stuff like that.
Okay. Do we have any with Vinci in America or Vinci in New York?
Yes, they call us foreigners.
So, but you're missing out that one, man.
There's a poem called Vinci Foreigner.
Okay. Okay. Well, you need not say more. Just show our the audience again what the two books, what they look like. If you can bring it up to the screen and picture us the other one.
Growing up in Vinci.
Okay. So I understand now the other book, Growing Up in Vinci. My co-host is also a character in it.
Well, his name wasn't mentioned, but you would know because he was on the team.
So I'm gonna let you describe that, and he's gonna pick you up on that because he likes to boast of his soccer prowess.
So this one comes on the traditional Sundays. And let me just read what it says. Soccer. Big events in Byra. The Byra Linkers was the top soccer team on the windward side. Lots of matches were played at the Gorse playing field, and the park and roadside were full of spectators and fans cheering the team on. Georgetown also had a big soccer tournament. This included teams from over the river and as far down as Greg's. Byron and Greg's had a feud, and boy, oh boy, it was soccer mashup. I don't know if CP remembers.
CP, what do you have to react to that?
That was something unbelievable. Now that you talk about it, I never really get into it, but I blame the organizers at that time for what happened. And why I'll say that, because the game was put in a position where the organizers must take full responsibility for what happened. There were 2 incidents at the beginning of the game should have stopped. And because you let this game go on, the team who feel that they are less privileged, they're going to take an advantage or revenge. And that's exactly what happened. There was a national player at the time came onto the field to question the referee about situation. You cannot do that. At that point, the game should have stopped because it's not going to get better. When that thing started, and well, it's 2 teams, 2 top teams. We're playing the finals. And nobody want to lose the final. Because it's a privilege. Your bragging rights. I think we won the game 3-0 or something like that. But that's not the point. The game should have stopped before it reached to that stage. Man, it was like stone pelting and all. It was like a back and hell.
So CP, what was your rule?
I was the goalkeeper at the time.
Right, that's what we want to hear.
He was the goalie.
I was the goalkeeper at that time. I was the Linkers goalkeeper, and I think we went through that tournament really well. And I didn't think we lost any game. But the problem is, man, it was something that it was unbelievable. It was not. It should have not. Something it shouldn't happen. It's thing that the organizers did not want to take any responsibility for what happened, and that was the problem.
See, Dr. Spring, your book is even bringing back controversial memories.
It was a big thing. It was a big issue. And Greg had to pass through Byron.
Wow. So tell us how much and where can we purchase those books?
Okay. So the book is available on Amazon. It's also available in St. Vincent at Variety Service Center in Georgetown and Games Book Center in Kingston. Soon it will be available on my website, which should be up and running shortly.
What's the name? What's the name of your website?
drnicolettespring.com.
Okay.
So people will be able to order, get their copies signed, and mailed to them directly.
So how much?
Oh, the cost is $14.99 US plus tax for Growing Up in Vincy, and $7.99 US plus tax for A Collection of Poems.
Wow, that's very cheap. So people can get if you hear that, folks. If you want, you just get one for gifts as well. Because $7.99 for something entertaining, and it's reality stories. You can't go wrong. So
and it's not a children's book.
Uh-huh.
It's an everybody's book.
Right.
It teaches the children about what we did growing up, and it takes us back down memory lane. And I've had reviews from someone in India, Philippines, and the Dominican Republic, and they have similar experiences. So even though these are my experiences, people around the world can resonate with them.
Right.
Are there available digital copies?
Digital copies are also available.
Could they get them off the website when your website is up and running, the digital copy?
Yes, yes.
Just make sure you come back and let us know when the website is up and running. Anything we can do to help push it. I will try to integrate the website name into the YouTube as well.
Oh, okay, thank you.
All right. Before I go over back to CP, though, I have a few things I want to ask you again. I think the first one is it true that you have some political aspirations?
I like to speak up for people who are politically victimized. If this leads to me being a politician further down the road, then yes, I look out for my people.
Okay, because I thought I heard that you would be the next representative for North Central Windward.
Could be true.
She's
But
already
I
political.
never, I'm not ruling it out, but I did not have that conversation with anybody.
Okay,
Certainly
I
not
saw.
right now.
Okay, I saw it somewhere on the internet. You wanted to be like the prime minister was like a role model for you, like you said. What legacy would you yourself like to leave? What would you like to be remembered for?
My philanthropic work. And not only that, I would like to, well, people to remember me as being an inspiration to them. Someone who's always positive, always sharing positive thoughts, and trying her best to do the best by others. I put people first.
And let me echo the sentiments on that because, like I say, I read a lot of your stuff. I don't like to read a lot, but I read a lot of your stuff. And when I saw you putting out like highlighting people all the time, I said, "Wow, she must be really like to write, you know, to do that, you know." So again, I can't stop applauding you for the job you're doing because your people in our community and some of the people that you even highlighted, I know them personally, but I don't know anything of them. You know what I mean? So, you know, you bringing forward those, it's like going like, wow, you know? And I just hope that folks can gravitate towards, you know, your information that you're putting out there. You know, that's why we here at Vince Internet Radio, we like to highlight you, to applaud you for really highlighting the community, and we wish we have more like Dr. Nicholette Spring. Before I pass you over to Sip, I think your secondary or high school education was at the girls' high school. Am I correct?
Yes, correct.
Right. Well, your girls' high school alumni would really they won't be happy you're not highlighting them. You know? So just tell us a little bit about your formative years at GHS, and then I'll pass you over back to Sip.
Thank you for recognizing the work that I do. I do it from the bottom of my heart. I love to feature people. At girls' high school, I was the girl in the back, very quiet, nonchalant. I only did work if I had to. And I wouldn't say getting in trouble, but not the best student either. Miserable in a kind of fun way. Like, for example, walking into town, if the door says pull, we push. Nonsense like that. Or going to school and only ironing the sleeves of our blouse because we know people are gonna talk. Just foolishness like that. And I wasn't really into books like that. I think I just did because my mom was on my case. Looking back now, I'm thinking if I really did my schoolwork, I don't know what would have happened. But nothing happens before it's time.
True. Yep.
You listen to Vinci Internet Radio. Just want to recognize a few people. Tia Brown, she's logged on to Vinci Internet Radio. Phyllis Collins. We have also, as I go down the line there, Grant Garden. And you must give Tia some little credit. She's the one who pushed me to get you onto this program. So I just let you know. Although one of the time I would have bring you on, but she pushed me further than I find this space. So all kudos to Tia Brown to pushing me a little bit further to get you onto the program. But it's always good to be on program and let people know about your work, and always good for you to come out and say exactly, express yourself in the form of a book. I appreciate that, and anything that we can do, anything that to help you go forward or get more exposure, don't be shy. You never reach out to me, but you can always reach out to me. Don't be shy at all. Don't be shy at all. There's nothing negative about getting out to somebody, because I'm always here to help people, especially people from my community. Sometimes Walton think I'm a little bit biased, but charity begins at home. So no, don't be shy.
Okay, thank you.
I'll talk to you after, because I'll need some information for you, and I'll do something for you, but I wouldn't say it right now. But you just send me some information after. Okay. All right. So it's all in all, it's already been always nice to talk to people who have inspiration to go forward, and people who really want to do things for the community and all that. So, and all that said, before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to say that we miss? Is there anything that you want to put forward? Don't be shy. You're here to sell your book. You're here to push your book. So, anything that we miss that you want to let people know, it's your time.
Say thank you for the opportunity, for having me here to talk about my books. I'm really proud of myself, and I know that a lot of people are proud of the work that I'm doing. I think we covered everything.
No, we didn't. Okay, we didn't. You didn't say where people can follow your social media.
Oh, so I have 2 Facebook pages. One is Coco Rolly Shaza Spring, and the other is Coco Starts. Coco Starts is my pen name. This is where most of the writing goes. Mm-hmm. And these thoughts are early morning thoughts. I go to bed early, so I wake up early, and my brain just keeps going. Going.
Mm-hmm. So
apart from that, I don't have any other social media platforms, but that's not really so active.
No TikTok and stuff like that. We gotta do some of those booking TikTok rooms for real. Yeah, I
Yeah.
myself, I myself will have to have a conversation with you after, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. CP, just give me. I mean, let me just because I have something I wanted to ask her, about her your adjustment. Tell us a little about the adjustment that you made in the U.S. to cross over from being an educator into a top executive accountant, and the follow up to that would be the message you want to give to the young people.
So I started off working at a company in Brooklyn, like doing invoices, etc. Then I worked my way doing accounts payable. From there, I moved on to being a junior accountant, then a senior accountant, then a controller, and now a CFO.
Right.
I
And what?
sent myself to school. I worked my way up from associate's degree right up to the doctorate. And in between, I have 2 master's degrees. These were not handed to me. Lots of blood, sweat, and tears. Lots of sacrifices. You don't see me at parties. You don't see me hanging out, except maybe at a barbecue, because I have to sacrifice that time to get to where I am now. And
And
for
all,
the younger
no,
people,
sorry. Before you go on, all that with managing a family or taking care of a family.
yes, full-time job, full-time mom, full-time housekeeper, all at once. But it can be done.
Well, living proof.
Yes.
Yes. So you were saying about for the young people, the messages.
Oh, yes. I'm saying it's whatever the mind can achieve, no, whatever the mind can perceive, you can achieve. It's all about the mindset. If you want it, you work hard for it. Nothing is given. I was born with nothing, and I've worked for everything that I've had. And today I stand proud. I'm happy that I worked hard. And if I did, you can too.
Well, well said. Dr. Spring, it's been an absolute wonderful pleasure to link up with you again. Um, I'm so proud again of the work you've been doing and continue to inspire, educate, and help your community and help others around it. We wish that there were more like you, but you yourself, you're doing a fantastic job. And at Vinci Internet Radio, Says World TV, we applaud you. We're gonna do this for YouTube as well, and then we're gonna post it on the YouTube channel, Says World TV. So until then, do take care and continue to do the works, man, and big up St. Vincent, big up yourself, or size up yourself, size up St. Vincent. Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
You listen to the Fresh Clean Song. You're listening to Vinci Internet Radio. We like to give our guests the last word. So the last word is yours. Anything you want to say to the people, anything, you just let them have it.
Get your copies of Growing Up in Vinci I guarantee you, it will take you way back. And from all reports, it's a page turner. It's difficult to put down once you start reading. And to Vinci Internet Radio, I thank you for having me. I treasure the opportunity, and I look forward to working with you again.
It's always a pleasure. I'm only a phone call, an email away.
Thank you.